I was truly a willful Catholic. I may have been excited about God and knew that He existed, but Walt was doing it his way.
Yeah.
I started reading True Life in God, and after I read the 1st and the 6th volume, that's how I started, I was convinced that this was the Lord. And a true metanoia took place in me. I started seeing life differently. A minor miracle happened. Maybe not so minor for me. I became obedient. I started seeing the church and life differently, the role of the Holy Father and the magisterium in my life. Blessed Mother, Rosary, Confession, Eucharist, Eucharistic adoration, love of the Sacred Heart, love of the Immaculate Heart. Right? Anybody want to go on?
Hit them all.
Huh? Oh, okay. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. So this was, for me, the second signal event in my, it's changed my life. My relationship with God, my relationship with my children, what happened to my children and my family, and what's going to happen with them and their family. I mean, my children are products of True Life in God. And what more wonderful thing can I give somebody than introduce them to True Life in God?
It's like I was a cradle Catholic and I said I knew all of these things and I believed all these things. But it's like I guess the scales was removed from my eyes. And I thought, my God, the Holy Trinity is really alive. It's, you know, and it just was mind-boggling for me. And I put in my bug screen in the front of my big red Dodge truck. I like red. True Life in God, and my license plates are TLIG, and I got it embroidered on all my coats except my trench coat. My wife wouldn't let me do that. My London fog, she said, no, that's carrying it too far. But anyway, about this time I became a Eucharistic minister, and I serve at the 9 o'clock Mass. So I show up early and to set the altar up, and I park my truck right in front of the door. So everybody that comes out of church has got to see this. And this new priest had no sooner than walked in the sacristy, and I hit him up with True Life in God, and the bishop was there. And the bishop turned around and said, I believe that True Life in God is one of the reasons that the Pope put out his encyclical on love. It reinforces all our faith. This is exactly what we say we've believed all our life. And it's as close to we're ever going to get to living proof that everything in the Bible is true. Thank you.
My heart's kind of going. I'm a recovering addict. And in 71, I was going to kill myself, coming off drugs, and I was pretty messed up. And my sister said, "What's wrong with you, Diane?" I said, I'm a sick person. And she said, "Remember that priest that came in our room? He gave me this beautiful book, read it." So I said, yeah, okay. So I went into my room, and I opened it up, and how Jesus loved me, how He died for me. I thought, God? What God? And I said, I need to know if there's a God or not. Because us human beings are strange and mean and broken and ugly. At the same time, I could look at a sunset. And why is nature so beautiful? What is wrong with us? My parents were both alcoholic, so there's a lot of violence in my family. So I got down on my knees and I said, "Dear God, are you real? And if you're not real, that's okay. I'm checking the hell out of here." And I cried. I've never cried so deeply in my life. It was like a sob from my very being. And when I finished crying, I opened my eyes, and this voice comes. I am scared the hell out of me. I ended up getting married, started having kids. But my conversion was very slow. It wasn't overnight, huh? So I was thirsting for God. And I went to a Catholic bookstore, and I saw Private Revelations of St. Margaret Mary on the Sacred Heart. And I said, I see this picture all over New Mexico. All the Mexican families have the picture of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Sacred Heart of Jesus. Who is Jesus anyway? You know, he's somebody up in heaven, a king. And who is it? What's the story behind the Sacred Heart? So I take that home and I read this book on Jesus present in Eucharist. And he would appear to St. Margaret Mary. And I thought, no way. No way! I didn't understand the idea of sacraments, really. Anyway, so I go to this prayer meeting, a mass, and this joy kept bubbling up. I believed in the I am God, this holy presence. I didn't understand too much who Jesus was, but this joy kept rising up. God the Father was leading me to his Son. You know, a lot of people say, well, you can't go to the Father unless you go to the Son. I was led through the great I am to Jesus, and a love of Eucharist and the holy presence of God. Vasula, her writings came in later. I did a retreat at the Benedictine monastery, and there was a Franciscan nun there, and I don't know who she is, I don't remember, but she had those books there, and then I picked them up, and the description, the language in the writings were of things that I've experienced with Jesus. I'm a dreamer, and all my inspirations and things I was supposed to do always came through dreams. And the language in the dreams were the ones Vasula got too. Like the idea of cathedrals. I want to make your soul into a cathedral. I'd have these dreams, even before I read that, of going to these beautiful cathedrals. And in the dream, I'm longing for them because I know the I am is there. The great God, the I am, the Father. So it confirmed. I go, oh my God, these writings were profound. And as I ended up having 5 children. And I have a son now. He's 32. He's in the mental hospital. Methamphetamine-induced psychosis. Funny about you have sins of the generation, huh? So man, I've got him in my family big time. I became a doctor of Oriental medicine through inspiration of the Lord, and I run a drug rehab. Well, it's not a rehab, but it treats drug addictions through acupuncture and herbs, and I run a faith-based clinic, so I get to pray with people. So the primary information that I have there for the spirituality is true life in God.
It never ceases to amaze me how many different ways he works in people's lives and how he brings the messages to each of us in a unique way. My way is I found the messages in prison. Why was I in prison? I was doing some volunteer work for the Missionaries of Charity, and I drove them to the prison. And there was a priest there, Father Felix Eckerman. During that time, he was telling me about this lady named Vasula Ryden, who was a prophet. And I thought she was somebody that lived down the street from his rectory that I could go and, you know, I was really into the supernatural, so I thought, she'll tell me about my life, maybe tell my fortune or something, you know, I didn't know. And I started reading and listening to the tapes, and it really helped me to develop a more intimate relationship with Jesus. Fortunately, I'm in contact with a lot of religious people, so I've been able to share the message with the Passionist nuns, with the Precious Blood nuns, with the rectory, and a lot of these people are very liberal, and a lot of times I am very rejected, but they're getting the message. I'm planting the seed, and I know that Jesus will eventually, you know, bring it all together. And I thank you for sharing your testimonies. God bless you.